Hi, Carolyn here. I'm so excited that you've decided to take control of your weight. Our weight is a one thing that only we can control. There's so many things that the rest of the world controls that we have no control over, but our weight is something that only we can take care of, and you can do it. The HCG diet program is fabulous. It's been around since 1967, so how many years is that, like 55? I ran into it many years ago. A friend of mine brought it to my attention and I started studying it and even talked to Dr. Oz about it and asked him, is there anything wrong with this? Am I gonna hurt anybody with it? And he's like, absolutely not. He said that the only thing that he didn't see was research showing that the HCG actually takes away the appetite. Well, I've used it myself and I know it takes away the appetite. The shots are interesting because you have to be able to give yourself a shot every single day. And what that shot does is it takes away the appetite and then also helps release the fat. If you did the same low-calorie diet without the shots, your body would probably just go into a hibernation mode and you wouldn't lose anything. So it's good that you're doing this. I've written a little book that you probably have in your hand right now that's gonna have everything you need to know about HCG in there. And we'll go over some of the things now because I truly want you to have good success with this. And knowing all the ins and outs is gonna help you with that. So you'll have not only your book, but we could also send you this video if you wanna hear this beautiful voice ramble on about HCG a little bit more. So it's an interesting diet because you're basically starving your body of fat and sugar. So you're gonna be cooking is gonna be a little bit challenging because you're not using oil, you're not using butter. Spray oil, if you have to use a little wisp over the grill pan, that's fine, but you just really wanna use as little as possible. The very first 2 pages you can read through at home of the book, and it just kind of gives you a little bit of the history of it and how the diet actually works with your body. And I really want you to prepare for this. Find 3 weeks out of your calendar where you don't have weddings, birthday parties and such, where you're gonna have all that temptation. So some of the things you might want to gather together before you get started, and this is on the 3rd page of the book, is George Foreman grill. It really works, especially if you're packing a lunch every day, just to be able to throw your shrimp or your chicken on there to cook it quickly with some spices and then get it into the lunch bag. A grill pan, any type of outdoor grill, air fryer. We used a lot of the air fryer recently with Brussels sprouts and asparagus and had fun, crisping things up. And then also you can bake, you can broil, you can boil. So basically the first day of the diet is an interesting time. It's called fat loading, and you have to give yourself the shot and then you have to eat something fatty every 2 hours. If you don't do that, you're gonna be hungry and miserable the whole time, and chances are the diet's not gonna work very well, if at all. So you must do this. The very first day, give yourself the shot, you weigh yourself, mark it down, and then start with your fat loading. And it can be healthy fats. You can have avocado, eggs, cheese, nuts, anything like that. Or it can be, let's knock off some of the junk food cravings that we have going on in our head. It may be a Bavarian cream donut, it might be a fillet of fish, it might be French fries, or even nachos. So if you can't think of anything fatty, I have. I'm very good at fatty foods, and that's in that first paragraph on the next page. So just read through all this, and then also you want to really prepare to start the diet, because after your fun day of fat loading, you'll be so greased up and ready to eat clean. You want to have good quality food in the house. You want to have like organic fruits and vegetables when you can, good quality meats, fish. You may want to go to the fish store, have them chop up actual pieces in the 3.5 to 4 ounces range that you can have. Women have, it says 3.5, but you could have 4 ounces of protein twice a day, and then men can double that. So men will have like 7 or 8 ounces of protein per serving. But the very first day, remember, you're gonna give yourself the shot and then you're gonna fat load. If you fat load without the shot, you just get fat. So the next page is where we're gonna be monitoring, or actually recording, our success. So whatever day of the week you decide to fat load, if it's a Saturday, Sunday, that might make it easier for you, or you're eager to go and you wanna start tomorrow, that's fine. You can pick any day out of the week on this calendar on this next page. What you'll do is you weigh yourself, you write in the date, put a check mark that you've given yourself the shot, and then start with your fat loading. Every 2 hours, bringing in something fatty. Very next morning, of course, you're going to weigh more, but you're going to weigh yourself, write it down. One time I think I gained 6 pounds. I'm very good at fat loading. And then you're going to go onto your clean diet. And the next days, you're going to see that scale dropping and dropping quickly. Most people lose between 5 and 10 pounds in that first week. So it's very exciting. You wake up in the morning wanting to get on the scale for the first time in a long time, and then you'll actually see the pounds coming off. After the first week or two, at some point, you're going to plateau. You'll be the same for a few days. You may even go up a little bit. You'll get really angry and you'll call me, cuss me out. When you hang up, you'll be 2 pounds less. So just stay the course. You really don't have to call me, but just stay the course. And if you do it, the diet will work. Most people lose between 10 and 20 pounds in that 3-week period. So I've had some that even have lost more, but usually the ones that lose more have more to lose. So if you're just fine tuning your figure, it may not be as dramatic, but at least you'll get what you want to get done. Now I've added in, if you've done this with me in the past, this is fairly new, I've added in the food journal into the book. And there's 3 weeks of food journals where you write down everything you eat. And I like you to do that because if for some reason you're not losing as quickly as I'd like you to, or that you think you should, I can take a look at that and I may be able to point something out that you shouldn't be doing, or maybe you could do better to help facilitate the weight loss. There's also a section down at the bottom where you can log your water, and we'll go over that in a little bit. And then if you happen to get any exercise in, you can write that down too, so you'll know how many days a week you've got to go out for that walk or workout. In the original protocol, it said that really not to exercise, that it may make you feel hungrier, but I've trained for a half marathon on it and did just fine. So it's really how you feel. You have to respect your body because you're eating very little, so your body may feel tired. If you're able to, take a little nap. If you're not, charge away, take your supplements, and you should be okay. Some people feel more energized by it, so it's not necessarily, that everybody's gonna feel a little tired. So you have 3 pages of that. We're moving along in the book of your food journal. And then we go into the clean diet. So you've done your 1 day of fat loading, giving yourself the shot, eating fat every 2 hours. Now we're on the next day. We weighed ourselves, gave ourselves the shot. Now during your waking hours, as you can see in the book, you get 2 servings of fruit, 2 servings of vegetables, 2 servings of protein, 2 low-calorie Wassa crackers or Char gluten-free crisp bread crackers. I found those at Publix and they really make a nice difference. So you may want to get those. Then also the juice of 1 lemon. You can use that on your salad. You can use it in your drinks. You can use it for cooking. Whatever you want to do with that. Then you can have all the water, coffee, tea, seltzer, and Crystal Light that you like. 1 tablespoon of fat-free milk or creamer if you need that in your coffee. If you don't drink coffee, don't drink it. And then also you can use any of the no-calorie sweeteners, Truvia, Splenda, Equal, Sweet and Low. For your salad dressing, you may want to try any of the types of vinegar, apple cider vinegar, balsamic. Since this diet was written so long ago in Italy, they didn't really have all the wonderful diet products that we have now. Like recently we found there's like a Skinny Girl vinaigrette, has maybe 5 calories or something in it. You can use that sparingly. And so you have to just keep in mind that this was written a long time ago where we didn't have all the different options that we have today. But if you venture off and do those things, just watch the scale and make sure that you're not queering the deal, that you really want to have everything working properly. That's why I tend to stick to the original protocol and not add in anything new. When you're cooking, you can use any type of dry spices. Fresh herbs make a big difference. Even if you're just putting them in your salad, if you add in some mint or basil or oregano, it kind of wakes things up. If you're one of those people that needs to have a diet soda, you can have 1 a day, but remember soda means sodium. When we bring in sodium, like lots of salt or canned foods or soda, we retain fluid. And our goal is to keep things moving and, drinking the water to keep things moving. And the sodium kind of slows that down. So if you have a heavy salt night, like you just went to town putting salt on your Brussels sprouts or whatever, chances are you're going to retain a little fluid and may weigh a little heavier than you would hope to the next morning. So be very careful with the salt intake, and especially with the new diet products. They can be, like I found this Gatorade Zero. Well, yeah, it was delicious and all that, but I limited myself to just 1 little bottle a day because of the sodium content. So just be aware of that. When you're cooking, there's absolutely no butter, oil, mayonnaise, salad dressing. Try it. You can try the Skinny Girl, but just the vinaigrette. The other ones really didn't taste good and had a little bit more calories. So your water, what you do is you take your body weight, however much you weigh. Let's say you weigh 200 pounds. We cut that in half, and that's how many ounces in a day you should take in. So if you're 200 pounds, it's 100 ounces. So I'm blonde, I don't do the math. Get out the calculator and figure out how much water you need to drink. Some people have little rules that help them along the way to make sure they're getting in their water, like putting rubber bands on their glass if they're drinking out of the same glass every day, and then pulling off each one when they complete it and refill it. Or if you drink from the water bottles, setting them out, or putting a rubber band on how many you need to eat that day. Or if you use the Brita cooler or water filter, you can do, you know how many ounces are in your pitcher and go from there. So the fruits seem fairly limited, but they're not. You can have an apple, orange, half a grapefruit. The grapefruit these days are very small, so I think you could have a whole one. Or a handful of fresh berries, and those can be blueberries, strawberries, blackberries, any type of berry is fine. Not cherries, berries, okay? The protein, boneless chicken breast, of course, is your friend. Any type of whitefish, shrimp, tilapia, cod, crab, lobster, lean beef. Like if you're going out, you could have a little filet and maybe some asparagus or steamed spinach at the restaurant. Turkey breast. I did a turkey breast wrapped in foil. I seasoned it up and found a recipe in my slow cooker. So when I got home, I had a nice hot turkey dinner. Not quite like Thanksgiving, but it worked. Fresh tuna and bison steak. Absolutely no hamburger or ground beef, ground turkey, none of that. The meat must be weighed before you cook it. 3.5 to 4 ounces for women, 7 to 8 ounces per men, and that's per serving. So you get that twice a day. And all visible fat must be removed off the meat before you cook it, like that little yellow stuff with the chicken. So they must be cooked without any added fat. Oily fish aren't allowed. That means like salmon, eel, oysters, rainbow trout, Chilean sea bass, swordfish, or herring. So if those are in your diet, take those away. You can use them on fat loading day. Choose the vegetables from the list here. It looks small, but you can actually have any type of green salad. You can have kale, you can have spinach. And that's, you can lean on the salad. Cabbage, you can saute some cabbage in some low salt, fat-free chicken broth maybe. And then tomatoes, celery, onions, asparagus. So you can make a nice salad, or if you like a hot vegetable at night, you can have the cabbage, asparagus, or Brussels sprouts. And remember, we played with the air fryer with that, and it turned out kind of good. Red radishes, cucumbers, and beet greens if you eat those. So the original protocol says absolutely no cauliflower, broccoli, squash, potatoes, string beans. Those are too carby of the vegetables. However, one of my biggest losers, get this, went to Longhorn Steakhouse and had a steak and broccoli every night for dinner. And she was one of my biggest losers. So just because it's not in the original protocol just may mean that it wasn't available in Italy in 1967 or 57, whenever it was they started with this. So the vegetable serving size is approximately 2 cups, but don't go crazy measuring your vegetables. You're not going to get fat from eating too many cucumbers or too much lettuce. Don't skip any servings. It's a very scientific diet. You have to eat everything. If you don't, your body, like I said earlier, may go into that hibernation mode and stop losing. So you want to be sure that you're bringing in enough food, plus you want enough food to keep things moving through, so constipation isn't an issue. Try not to take, just for these 3 weeks, any of the omega-3 fish oils, any of the oily vitamins that you have, flaxseed oil, vitamin E, any of the other oils, because remember, we're starving our body of fat and sugar. Skinny shots, if you're here, if you're local and can come in each week, we like to see your progress. If you can bring in your book, we'll look that over, give you your shot, the skinny shot, which is included in the program. If you're not living here and prefer to do it at home, we do have a liquid one, but I understand the flavor isn't so good, but it does the job. It's called Lipo S, and you can also get it on our website if you run out and need to get more. Many people continue on with either the skinny shots or the Lipo S after the diet, is just to help them, because what the skinny shots are and Lipo S is vitamin B12, which is an energy vitamin, and it also has some fat releasing amino acids. So it does help support your diet program. I actually had one guy, he did a skinny shot every week at my office for a year, didn't change his diet or his exercise, and lost 30 pounds. So there is something to it. So you may want to, keep going with that even when you're on stabilization and even after the diet. So we do recommend some supplements because you're eating very little, just to help support your body with good nutrients. If you're not taking a good multivitamin, we have one here. We recommend that for everybody on the diet. Chromium picolinate helps balance your sugar as you lose, so you don't feel queasy and not so good with not having sugar. Many of my patients are already on the LowTE probiotic, which I love. I take it morning and night. I even notice if I miss it. And that really helps with your digestion. And what you want to do is be sure that you're passing all this stuff out of you as quickly as possible. And the probiotic's going to help that, as well as support your immune system, help with your skin, help with your mood. You just feel better when you're taking your probiotics. Then LowTE Citrus Slim is another support thing we have. I brought it in originally because many women are talking about belly fat and asking about cortisol and the stress response, why we are gathering fat around our middle. Partly it's due to stress, partly it's due to wine. So grab your middle and say goodbye to your wine. Also, LowTE DIM. We've been using DIM as a support piece for our hormone optimization for years. And in the literature, it always says that it really gives you a helps with your weight. With the estrogen metabolism for women, which wants to turn into bigger boobs and belly fat, you want it balanced out and optimizing properly. And what the DIM does, when we bring estrogen in or even produce it on our own, it has the option to go down different metabolic pathways. And what the DIM does is it pushes it down the safest pathway, which can help you with your weight loss and help prevent any of those untoward effects of estrogen. So LowTE DIM is good. Women 1 a day, men twice a day. If you have issues with constipation, it may get worse because, again, you're eating very little, but you need to be drinking your water, maybe a salad a day. Try to get an apple or orange in your day to help keep things moving along. If you need to, or if you're having issues already, you may want to start with magnesium, 500 milligrams. We have the Life Extension one up there, I think for $15, cost effective. It'll last you maybe 3 months. Even when I'm not on the diet, I take that. And what it does, the magnesium helps relax your brain to help you get a good, delicious sleep. It also helps me, I tend to get leg cramps. I was a runner and I used to get leg cramps at night, took that away. And then it also helps you poop the next day. So it's a 3-for-1, it's a bargain for $15. So basically, we want you to keep things moving in that department. And if you go more than 2 days without having a bowel movement, call me. There's things we can do. You can get a laxative like a Ducalox at the drugstore. That'll set it free. Then also at Publix, there's a tea called Smooth Move. And you drink that at night, you will poop in the morning. Hold on. So the basic rule for the diet is if it's not in the book, don't eat it. A lot of people like to try different recipes they find online, but there's a lot of misinformation out there. Many people have changed the protocol as time has gone on, just assuming that they didn't have broccoli back in Italy back then. But I try to stick to this is the true protocol. And if you follow this, you will lose. When people start doing the recipes online, there's things added in there that aren't necessarily in the diet. So just be wary. There could be some good ones, but just be careful and always keep watching that scale, because once you see that scale going up, you know that you're doing something that may not be quite right. So the next several pages are frequently asked questions that you can read through at home. We're not going to hijack you for hours here. And it goes into the plateau. And then some people get like a little deer in the headlights trying to plan a meal with this new food list that they have here. So I put together some sample meal plans that are in the book. And I had one lady came in, she checked them off. She ate it exactly as I wrote it for a week. Then there's some recipes. I kind of like the basil tomato soup, and then it's very delicious. And then if you continue to cook it, it turns into like a little marinara sauce that you can put on your chicken or your fish. Not bad. A lot of people like the baked apple recipe. Ceviche, you know, if you go to your local restaurant and their ceviche doesn't put oil in there, you may be able to get away with that. We found that Papa's Raw Bar oh, I don't want to give away my secrets, I'll lose my bar stool. They have a fabulous ceviche that I was able to use on the diet and did not have a problem with it. LowTE, then it goes into the skinny shots, kind of explaining what's inside the skinny shot. And then it also explains Citrus Slim a little bit more. When you get to this big red stop sign, I want you to stop. If you continue reading, you're gonna think you can have brie and nuts while you're on the diet, and you can't. That's for stabilization. Once you've done this 3 weeks, I need to talk to you before you go into stabilization, because there's things to do and not to do during that time to help lock in that weight loss. If you just go off it and disappear, you could very easily just gain back all this weight that you just lost. Like one time I came off it right before Thanksgiving, early on. I was so happy I had lost 17 pounds. Oh my gosh, this is fabulous. So I come off, I'm cooking for 30 people. And I think, oh, poor me. I've been, on this starvation diet. I need to have a little taste of something good. So I thought, what's a tablespoon of stuffing, tablespoon of potatoes, and a little bit of gravy? Those were my favorite parts of the meal anyway. So I had those. And there was a chemical reaction in my body where I started to gain the weight back, and there was no stopping it. I went back on the HCG diet. I tried the steak day. I tried everything, and nothing would stop it. And my body just kept gaining, right where I started, and then it stopped. And it was just like, what the heck? I just suffered for all that. So there's things to do and things not to do when you come off the diet. I'm not telling that to scare you, but I am. But I just want to talk to you because I want you to have success. One of my patients called me the other day. She's kept the weight off for over 8 years. Another one, 5 years. So if you do as I say, not as I do, we can help you lock it in and then keep it off, and even possibly keep losing even after the diet. So let's talk after that. But for now, Rochelle is going to show you how to give yourself the shot, give you your skinny shot or your Lipo-S, give you all your syringes. You got to take them home. You got to keep them cold. So put them in the fridge, and then figure out which day you're going to start fat loading. Give yourself the shot. Start fat loading. Next day, you're going to weigh more, but then you're going to start to lose, and it's going to be so much fun. You're going to love getting up in the morning to get on the scale. So I wish you all the best, and if you have questions, you can call me, but the basic rule is if it's not in the book, don't eat it. I'll see less of you next time. Good dieting.